allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So starting over, not with a pledge, I appreciate all of you being here to honor Don. This is a great turnout. I'd like to think Don is responsible for this weather, but I have a feeling he's very embarrassed up there right now because he never wanted it to be about him. But today it is about him.
Extremely generous, extremely respectful, and he was always there. Always there. He never wanted the spotlight, like Don Higgins said. I tried to embarrass him with nicknames once in a while because of his generosity. You could see it in his face. He did not like it at all. He was that kind of guy. My long ride from Bradford, PA today, I started laughing in the car, in the truck. And I thought, where the hell is Don today? He's hanging with Dave Cullen. That's where he is.
I usually start by saying at our missions that we appreciate the opportunity for the Patriot Guard Riders to honor the veteran that we're standing for. In this case, that seems a little not enough. We are here to honor not only a brave Marine Corps veteran, but also one of our own, a 20-year founding member of the Patriot Guard Riders of New York. Don Becker was a member of this church. He was a volunteer, spent a lot of time helping out, doing things here, along with our member Ed and Don's brother-in-law, Tom Arnold. So it's a huge honor for us to be here today. We have 3 people that would like to speak very briefly. I'll start with Bill Schaaf, our New York State Ride Captain.
First of all, I want to say what an honor and a privilege it is for me to be here, to honor Don, say some kind things about him. But it's also a very distinct honor and privilege that I have to represent the finest men and women that I know in New York State, and that is our Patriot Guard Riders. We've gathered here to honor Don, who lived a life of purpose, conviction, with a quiet kind of courage. As a founding member of the Patriot Guard Riders of New York, he helped build more than an organization. He helped build a shield of dignity around America's heroes. We stood with him in the cold and the rain and the heat and the wind, so that no family would ever grieve alone and no veteran would ever be forgotten. As a ride captain, Don led not with authority, but with a steadiness. He knew every mission mattered. He knew every flag he carried represented sacrifice, and he knew that respect is not something that we talk about. It's something that you show. He was kind of a man who answered the call every time it came. The kind of man who believed that service doesn't end when the uniform comes off. The kind of man who understood that freedom has a cost and that the least we can do is to honor those who paid it. Don Becker knew that a mission complete report wasn't just a formality. It was a promise kept to the families of veterans and first responders. Don's legacy lives not in the miles that he rode, the families he comforted, the veterans he honored, and the riders that he inspired. We will miss his leadership, his humor, his grit, and his unwavering heart. But we will carry forward the Patriot Guard Rider mission he helped create. But beyond the missions and the miles, Don was simply a good man, a man who listened, a man who helped, a man who made you proud to stand beside him. Today we stand a little taller because he once stood among us. And we'll cherish his memory, but we will honor him the way he honored others, by showing up, by standing tall, and riding with a purpose. He gave us an example worth following, and we will follow it. I'd like to quote something from Leo C. Roston, who once said, "I think the purpose of life is to be useful, to be responsible, to be honorable, to be compassionate, It is, after all, to matter, to count, to stand for something, to have made a difference that you have ever lived at all. Don Becker lived a life of that purpose. God bless you.
I want to thank everyone for being here today to honor one of my best friends. I spent the last 2.5 months trying to write something that would be meaningful and wouldn't embarrass my friend, that would leave you guys with something that I learned from Don. And I rewrote it, and I was up till after midnight last night doing it again. I ended up leaving my phone out of my bike. I really don't think I need it. I just want to say that Don was only one of my best friends, but he was also a mentor to me. He joined just before I did, and Don was the first man I met, first friend I made in the Patriot Guard back in 2006, 20 years ago. And in those last 16 years, we rode everywhere together. We went more missions than I can remember, that I care to remember, because some of them were really hard. But we were pretty much always together. And 4 years ago, I moved to Tennessee, and my bond here was kind of separated. I come back once in a while. But over those years of riding with Don to many missions, from local here to Arlington National Cemetery to honor our veterans, Don never counted the cost. He didn't add up what it cost for a hotel or for meals or for gas or for anything. And he always said, "Oh, if you need something, you call me." And he looked you right in the eye and he meant it. And he said, "You call me, you need anything." And I always wanted to give him more than he gave me, because he just earned that. He had much respect with me, but he always said that. And to make a friend like Don, and I'm sure we all have friends, but most of us have more acquaintances than friends. People we know, people we met through good times, through Bills games and Sabres games, or picnics and stuff. When everything's going great, you think you got everything under control. But the friendship that really matters, like the friendship I had with Don, is in the difficult days. It's in the hard times. It's when nobody else really understands what you're thinking or how you think. But him and I have like a kindred spirit. He showed us what it's like to honor a veteran, not just come there with a flag and stand for a few minutes, but to be there for the family, even after the service ended. To be there for a family when their loved one comes home with comfort out on a tarmac in some remote airport, and we're standing there to try to bring comfort to a family that's grieving, losing everything they care about, not having lost it yourself, but you understand the cost that person, that veteran, paid for our freedom. And Don understood that better than almost anybody I've ever met. And he truly valued life. And he always said, "It's not about us." He said that probably more than he said anything. It's not about us. He was right. He's always right. I just want to say, a real friendship is forged in these hard times, and you'll never forget. I can remember the first mission. He was the ride captain out to Dalton, New York Cemetery in the rain, torrential rain that we went through and stuff. And he never wavered, man. He'd gone 100 of them. He was ready to be a professional. But from before the mission started to the end evening, he was on it. And he left a real tough act to follow, actually. But I think every person here knows, because they read with Don. And I just want to say, go rest high in that mountain, man. You live the life that most of us wish we could have. We always find ourselves thinking about things we could have done or should have done. Don did it. He didn't think about it. He just did it. So, go rest high in that mountain. Semper Fidelis.
I could go on and on with comments about Don Becker, but just a few things. Don Becker was the epitome of a proud American patriot, a Patriot Guard Rider member, and a ride captain. He was very famous for his comment, "It's not about us, it's about the veteran and the veteran's family." Sometimes he took heat from many of us for being adamant about insisting on a respectful flag line with no talking. And I see some people smiling about that. Don would get upset and disgusted when members couldn't seem to understand that the best flag line is a silent flag line. It bothered him so much that he stepped away from the position of ride captain a couple times. But I'm grateful that it didn't last long. Don was proud of the plaques we presented to the families during the mission. Living just down the road from Tony Martin Awards, where the plaques are produced, Don made it his job to wait for a phone call from them to let them know when the next plaque was ready. He was there on an almost daily basis, not only to pick up the plaque, but to check on the employees and see how they were doing. He would then take the plaque home to share with Virginia and get her approval. And he always made it clear when he delivered me a plaque. He said, "My wife approved of this." Don Becker delivered hundreds of plaques across the 9 counties of Region 1 and oftentimes in Region 2 and other areas. He insisted on doing this because it meant he could go to Tony Martin Awards and see them. He put thousands of miles on his vehicles making those deliveries. He said it was his honor to do it. And I want to give you just one example of how dedicated Don Becker was in his mission to deliver a plaque. Many of you know I'm a Buffalo Bills fan. This was maybe 3 years ago. I was at our tailgating area located on Big Tree Road, just east of Abbott. Any of you that know the area know that could get pretty crazy. So Don was fighting crazy traffic. He pulled up in front of the house where I was with impatient traffic behind him. He got out of the car with all those cars honking their horns and waiting. He came over to me, handed me the plaque, gave me a big hug, and said, "I love you." That's how dedicated he was to put up with Bills fans. And here's where the bad word comes in. With nothing but the highest respect and love, Don Becker became known lovingly as the plaque bitch. My apologies to anybody for that. But that was Don Becker. Always about the mission, all about the plaques. I miss his hugs. I miss sharing the I love yous. And fortunately, I have many texts and voicemails from Don that I'll never erase. But 2 words he always said, whether we were together when we left, whether it was in a message, whether it was in a text. in capital letters, be safe. And I ask all of you, in honor of Don, please be safe. At this time, we have some plaques to present to the family in honor of Don. And I'm pretty sure Virginia will approve of this one.
My name is Dixie. I'm now the senior ride captain of Region 1. And it's all because Don pushed and told me to get after it. So I'm going to start reading this flag if I can get through it. On behalf of a grateful America and the Patriot Guard riders for bravely and proudly carrying the burden of defending this country. For service to this nation and sacrifices made, we sincerely thank you. Donald R. Don Becker, Lance Corporal, United States Marine Corps, 4 years active duty service to our nation, 1961 to 1965, Vietnam War era, Cold War era veteran, Marine Corps, MOS, 2311, ammunition technician, most significant duty, ammo company, supply battalion, 1st Force Service Regiment, Fleet Marine Corps Pacific, Camp Pendleton, California. Honorably discharged from active duty, 10 June 1965. Completion of Marines Reserve obligation, 10 June 1967.
Marine Lance Corporal Don Becker earned the following awards: the National Defense Service Medal, the Marine Corps Rifle Marksman Badge, the Cold War Service Commemorative Medal, and the United States Marine Corps Honorable Service Commemorative Medal. He was the founder and 20-year member and dedicated Region 1 Ride Captain of the Patriot Guard Riders, New York. He participated in approximately 1,750 missions. He was also a member of LEAK, the organization in Pennsylvania, providing a friendly, accessible camp environment, therapeutic outdoor activities like hunting and fishing for all veterans. Donald R. Don Becker, husband, father, brother, grandfather, great-grandfather, in-law, uncle, and friend. Proud Marine Corps veteran, devoted Patriot Guard Riders leader. He touched many lives through the loyalty to his church and his country. Most of all, Don taught his family courage, strength, and greatest of all, love. A true man of honor. Most assuredly, Don Becker is a true American and community hero.
Breathe that. Honk. Order. Honk.
Bill Shaw will present the first plaque to Don's loving wife, Virginia.
Please accept this plaque. Patriot Guard, a small token of veterans, Don's faithful service to his country, and also the state of Virginia. Represent the St. Charles.
Current Senior Ride Captain Dixie Hancock will present the next one to daughter Marie. Former senior ride captain Bill Maynard, will you present the plaque to daughter Tammy? Former senior ride captain Mark Steffen, will you please present a plaque to daughter Wendy? I believe Wendy can't be here. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I'm glad you're here.
Always there, he's always respectful, totally different. His memory will never be.
Former senior ride captain Bill Brainerd, will you present a plaque to his son, Donnie Jr.? From Tony Martin Awards, who again, as I mentioned, Don just loved those people at that shop. He loved the amazing plaques that they produced for us. He loved the people, and he cared about them very much. Tony Martin Award, Rich McLean will present a plaque to son, Sean Schlenz. And Tony Martin Awards employee Paul O'Connor. I just want to say that Paul is the one that I deal with very often. It's a very, very wonderful relationship. This is a tough day for Paul because we've lost Don, and it's tough for him for another reason on today's day. But Paul, will you present a plaque to Don's brother-in-law, Tom Nelson? There was someone very special in Don's life. Both Don and Virginia and Don's whole family loved this person. Don and Virginia attended her wedding. Don and Virginia attended her retirement. I believe that was last year in Virginia. The Patriot Guard Riders honor our military. Everybody knows that. We also honor our first responders, law enforcement, firefighters, all the first responders. It's my honor to present a special plaque to a very special part of Don Becker's family. She retired recently after 27 or 28 years with our Department of Defense, our Department of War. And I'm very honored to present this to Mary Kate. Typically, before we leave the cemetery, and we're always the last ones to leave, we're there to make sure the veteran is not alone when we lower the urn or the casket into the ground. Don is not going into the ground today. He's not going anywhere but home with Virginia until a later time. So we want to do our final salute. This is what we do every time we do a final salute. But this is Don Becker. Our final salute is going to be a little different. Would you all rise, please? Present arms. Order arms. Present arms. Order, arms. Treason, arms. Order.